Fluff the Wolfman Jackson. You're watching WGS-TV.
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer and FXTV. I'm Don't Believe Boudreaux, being joined by the master of Rock and Roll's 11294, the one, the only, Chris Rogers. Chris, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good right now. I'm having to change out the DVD because I was an idiot and forgot to change it out earlier.
Well, we've been talking about Monday Night Raw for the week of March 11, 2013, and we open up the show with WWE paying their respects to William Moody, aka Paul Bearer. And Chris, I just want to start off by asking you, what was your immediate reaction to the announcement of William Moody's, aka Paul Bearer's death?
I thought that they were pulling another trick. I thought that they were, gonna be bringing him back, saying, "Oh, surprise! I'm not really dead." But when it was actually confirmed, I was actually pretty shocked. Because I mean, just shocking mainly, man. I mean, it was something totally unexpected.
Well, the WWE allowed the Undertaker to pay his respect in his own way. He comes
It,
out. Go ahead.
which they should have allowed.
Well, in a sense, they did and didn't at the same time. They allowed Undertaker to come to the ring, and when he did the traditional, turning on of the lights, and instead of seeing the lights come up, we see the symbol of Paul Bearer. That also famous and sometimes infamous urn. Wherever you saw Paul Bearer when he was managing the Undertaker or Kane, one of the things you always saw him with was the urn, and the way they were letting him pay homage to it, I thought was a very, very classy move by the WWE. But now we get to the part where they didn't allow him to pay respects to William Moody by having CM Punk come out, and he said, don't get me wrong, I just wanted to come out and say I'm sorry for your loss at WrestleMania. And the fans started booing him, and it was a good way for CM Punk to gain a lot more heat when it comes to their matchup at WrestleMania 29 this year. When they're in commercial break, I have the WWE app, guys, and I watched on WWE Active that while CM Punk was gloating on stage, we see Kane's pyro hit, and it looked like Kane wanted to choke slam CM Punk off the stage, but CM Punk was able to get away. So, very unique, very interesting opening to Monday Night Raw, wouldn't you think, Chris?
Yeah, very.
Go ahead.
The tribute thing a little differently. I wouldn't have allowed, CM Punk to come out because, I mean, you're paying respect not only to someone that passed away, but a legend. And, I mean, they didn't allow this for Macho Man Randy Savage when they did that tribute. So, I mean, why did they allow it for Paul Bearer? I mean, I think that, are we allowed to curse on this?
Every now and again, but not not every not like I don't want to say his name on here because he might try to flag me for it, but a certain person's name that we know, it starts with a G and ends in several random numbers.
Ah, okay. Well, anyways, I think that was an a-hole move by WWE for allowing Punk to do that. That was just most disrespectful thing I could have ever seen. It not only pissed Undertaker and Jerry off, but it also pissed me off, and I'm sure millions of others watching.
I'm pretty sure that, but they did do like a show that's dedicated to him. We saw a lot of great classic clips, including Paul Bearer's debut. A lot of people don't remember the fact that the original manager of the Undertaker, when he first came in at the Survivor Series all the way back in 1990, wasn't Paul Bearer. It was Brother Love. And Brother Love is the one who introduced Paul Bearer. to the WWE universe. The
Oh,
WWE.
that's who the red face guy was.
Yeah, that was Brother Love, aka Bruce Pritchard.
Damn.
He's the one who brought him in, so I'm pretty sure that he's also been deeply affected by the loss of Paul Bearer. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go right to a comment question I want from you guys out there. I'm also gonna put it in the description box of this video, so you guys will also know to remember to answer it. In case you forget during the course of this review. Um, One of the things I would like to hear from you guys, I'm pretty sure Chris feels the same way. One of the things we really want to hear from you guys are some of your favorite Paul Bearer moments, whether it be when he was managing The Undertaker or Kane, or even go as far as Mankind and Vader as well. So some of your favorite moments and some of your favorite moments involving Paul Bearer. So that's what we want to hear from you guys. Be sure you put those in the comment section below.
Can I go ahead and say my favorite moment?
Sure.
It's kind of not just, I don't know how to say it, but for me, my favorite moment was during the first episode of Monday Night Raw with Paul Bearer and the Undertaker match.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for some reason that just strikes me as one of my favorite moments, basically. That and whenever he and they showed it last night during Raw when Paul Bearer apparently had a gender crisis.
That was, I believe, like one of the. I think they were doing a parody of a Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious to me to do. He also did that with Mr. Fuji, and I believe
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the name of the actor, but it was an actor from. I'm trying to remember the name of the police drama. It escapes me, but
L.A. Law.
no, it was
NYPD Blue.
It was like Boston something.
Boston Legal.
That might have been it. I'm not 100% positive on that, but yeah, that was indeed a very funny segment. I think it was during, um, if I can remember correctly, when they had the disappearance of the Undertaker after the Royal Rumble, when he was jumped by Yokozuna and a group of guys that didn't like the Undertaker, and they stuffed him into the coffin, and after that he disappeared for quite a while, and I believe that was like a skit of videos that they did, about the Undertaker's disappearance. So,
Yeah. Hey, Billy, did you ever find out about what caused the death of Paul Bearer?
that information has never been released.
It's actually just has been. I just found out he was suffering issues with his gallbladder, and that's what he died.
Yeah. So again, what we want to know, guys and gals, are some of your favorite Paul Bearer moments. So put them in the comment section below as we get back to the Raw review with the opening match between Big Show and Seth Rollins of the Shield. Basically, this was the first opportunity we get to see one member of the Shield in one-on-one action, and the way a lot of people have been looking at this, having the involvement of Big Show in this storyline, along with Randy Orton and Sheamus, is the fact that they might be trying to use this to turn the Big Show face, but in typical Shield fashion, the match quickly devolved to the outside, and then we had the interference by Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, or as I like to call him, Robotic Roman Reigns, who has no emotion whatsoever. They even ended up doing the triple power bomb to the Big Show. Chris, your reactions to seeing that?
I thought that the Big Show was going to squish him. I really thought that. I was surprised, but in my opinion, the Big Show's gotten kind of. It's basically gotten kind of sad. Basically, I mean, I'm beginning to think that the Big Show just needs to retire because there's really they're basically getting stale with storylines for him. He either needs to, in my opinion, retire or go to TNA. Because I mean, and I know I sound like an a-hole for saying that, but
I don't think people would consider you that for saying that. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, so it wouldn't make you an a-hole.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, I mean, the WWE, I think, is just running out of storylines, and they're just sticking Big Show in wherever, So, but I do see where you're coming from about him trying to turn face. I think that they're trying to do that as well, and I think that there's also a couple of other people that are going to be doing a couple of turns, but we'll get to that as we get to it.
3 out of 5 on this one because it was so really blatantly obvious the fact that they were going to have a 3-on-1 attack on the Big Show. Yeah. We go to a backstage segment. CM Punk going to Vicky Guerrero and Brad Maddox. For the life of me, I don't even know why he's still in the WWE. And complaining with the fact that Kane came after him. He had a match with Undertaker and not his little brother. And Vicky Guerrero said, for your disrespect towards Paul Bear, I'm putting you in a match against Kane, and not only that, it's a no disqualifications match. So, very interesting main event being set up there as we go to what I consider to be one of the best matches of the night. That's Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan. Dolph Ziggler, the show off. The man is awesome in the ring. I don't care what anybody else says. He's been, whether he wins or loses, he always delivers on a high quality match, and that's exactly what we got with Ziggler and Daniel Bryan. I was really impressed, very entertained with this match. Ziggler made both himself and Daniel Bryan really, really shine in this one-on-one encounter. And it just, by the way, I'm still my vote for the beard off goes to Daniel Bryan. That's all I'm going to say about that. Daniel Bryan, the king of beards.
Go face.
Yeah, well, maybe that guy from the Oakland A's can become the new goat face. You never know.
Or better yet, Daniel Bryan becomes one of the new members of the Oak Ridge Boys.
Papa Mau Mau.
Yeah.
4.5 out of 5 on that match, Chris. I was very, very impressed.
Definitely, same here. I mean, with Dolph Ziggler especially, I'm gaining more and more respect for him and as a wrestler because, I mean, let me just say he's come far from being a male cheerleader in the Spirit Squad.
Definitely.
And same for Daniel Bryan. I mean, he's come a long way from NXT. The goatee can probably use a little trimming, but hey, everyone's entitled to their own facial stuff. But yeah, definitely very good match.
Now, next up, we're scheduled to have Tensai taking on the debut of Fon Don. Go. But apparently, for the 4th time in a row, Tensai is the one who said, Fandango, get out here. And Fandango had a huge problem with the way that Tensai was saying his name. Now, look. Yeah, the first time that they pulled this, I thought it was okay. Establishing his gimmick in a sense of, that he's not only charismatic, but he's also an egomaniac. You have to say his name right. Second time was starting to get a little stale. Third time, very old. Fourth time, what in the fucking hell are they doing with this goddamn
language?
Yeah, but it's every now and again I curse to
I know
to express my frustration over something that's completely ridiculous now, and that's exactly what's happening now with the Fandango gimmick.
It's getting like it was when they kept delaying Brodus Clay's debut.
Well, they didn't have him come out there and saying, you know what, I'm not going to debut, I'm not going to premiere tonight because you didn't say my name right.
True, but they kept delaying Brodus Clay's debut by John Laurinaitis saying, Okay, you'll be there next week. No, you'll premiere next week. You know, sounding like a cross between a mob boss and a guy with permanent laryngitis. I
Yeah.
think that's how he got his name.
Well, we here with the guys at WGS-TV kind of came up with a new name for Fandango, and Chris, I'm going to give you the honors of premiering that name.
Fawn Dildo.
Yep. Now we might see the gimmick come to a head maybe on Friday Night SmackDown because remember on last week's SmackDown, Booker T was not happy with Fandango walking out on the matchup he had set. I believe it was with Justin Gabriel on Friday Night SmackDown, and Booker T was not happy with the fact that Fandango walked out on that match because they didn't say his name right. So if we see this for a fifth time in a row with no change, I'm going to officially boycott the Fandango gimmick and say, you know, if you're not going to debut him, get him the hell out of here. Because, 5 times in a row, it's starting to get a little bit annoying.
You don't even know what you just said a few minutes ago.
Well,
we talking about Fawn Dildo, and you said it before this all comes to a head.
Bad thoughts. 3 out of 5 on the gimmick. On the segment. The gimmick, well, that's for another video. Next up, we had what a lot of people consider to be a very good tag team match. Well, it was set up to be a very good matchup. For those of you who don't have the WWE app, the Team Road Scholars reunited on the WWE app, and last week on Old School Monday Night Raw, laid out a challenge to the New Age Outlaws, which they accepted. Now, one thing I want to note is the fact that the Road Scholars kind of did their own sophisticated version of the intro of the New Age Outlaws. They translated, your ass better call somebody. Damien Sandow interpreted as your posterior should contact someone quickly. I'm going to quote the Studley man Ashley. He thought it was bloody brilliant. He was laughing. It was hilarious, and we'll give it to him. It was very highly entertaining. Damien Sandow and Cody Rhodes' interpretation of the New Age Outlaws gimmick. But now on to the matchup. I want to say we're about 2 or 3 minutes into the match. Cody Rhodes had just gotten the advantage on Road Dogg Jesse James, and then lo and behold, we hear Brock Lesnar's music, and out comes let me see it right because I'm pretty sure Ashley would ring me for this. Brock Lesnar, or a lot of people call him Brock Laser,
or Broccoli Lesnar.
Well, and Lesnar comes out to do what, of course, is the obvious, and that's attack the New Age Outlaws because they're friends of Triple H. So it kind of fits into their gimmick they're doing. And then after he F5s both Road Dogg Jesse James and Bad Beep Billy Gunn, Paul Heyman got on the microphone and said that Lesnar accepts the deal. He wants to fight Triple H, but on his terms. And his terms are that he be allowed to name the stipulations to the match after Triple H signs the contract. So, kind of interesting to see where they go with this between Brock Lesnar and Triple H.
I think I have an idea of where it's going to go.
Well, I was going to go to you next and ask you. I think this might be the first time you're hearing this news about Lesnar and Triple H and Paul Heyman. What is your reaction to it?
It's kind of predictable about how they're wanting to name the stipulations and how they're not going to sign. They did the same thing last year. It wasn't at WrestleMania. I don't think it was at some other pay-per-view. I think SummerSlam was it. But the thing is, we've already seen this match. How many times do we have to see it before it gets old? I mean, it got old after the first time, and quite frankly, even though they're doing it at the biggest pay-per-view of the year, that doesn't make it any more better. I mean,
my only hope is we don't see 50,000 Kimura locks like we did at SummerSlam. I mean, Seeing that at SummerSlam was just god awful.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, Triple H looked in great shape the past couple of
Definitely.
weeks, and
Definitely.
he said the game is back in his promo the following week. I gotta agree with him. Um,
But I will say though, let's hope he doesn't lose his strength because he cut his hair.
oh God, the whole Samson thing. 3.5 out of 5 on the whole segment. Now, next up we got Mark Henry and Kofi Kingston. Obviously it's going to look like Kingston was going to job, but he still put on a very good series of moves. He did a flying attack off the stairs to Mark Henry when they're on the outside. And interesting enough, Kofi goes for that I'll call it like a frog splash style crossbody where he gets just incredible hang time. But Mark Henry, being the world's strongest man that we know, catches Kofi in mid-air and turns it into the world's strongest slam, gets the victory over Kofi Kingston. Pretty much cut and dry. Can't say anything bad about it, but I can't say it was an extraordinary match. 3.5 out of 5 is the best I can score it. Now, backstage, Caitlyn and Cody Rhodes were talking, especially around the little water cooler. Apparently, it looks like they're trying to develop a love interest storyline between these two. Then,
It ain't gonna work.
well, here comes Damian Sandow. He takes the water from Caitlyn, thinking that she was handing it to him. And Sandow says, "You know what? Forget her. I got two women who are more than her. Intelligent wise and beauty." And then the camera pans up, and lo and behold, guess who's back in the WWE? But the Bella Twins. Brie and Nikki Bella are back in World Wrestling Entertainment, and it brings up the question that the Studley man Ashley said, how shit is your WWE Divas division that you got to bring the Bellas back? Now, I will say this: they are it's so nice to look at them. We see it twice, but the fact of the matter is this: they have very little to no in-ring ability, very little in-ring talent. They are eye candy, yes, they are. But who knows? Maybe they took their little sabbatical that they had to probably get some more training, and that's all I can say.
Well, you do know who they're dating right now, right?
I do not.
Bree is currently dating Goatface Daniel Bryan,
Lucky
and
bastard.
while Nikki has been reportedly dating, get this, John Cena.
I've heard of that one. I've heard
Yeah.
that one. Next up, we had Ryback and Heath Slater, and very interesting to note that during this squashing of the Wendy's girl, that Mark Henry was on the stage watching this. We've seen over the past few weeks something starting to develop between Mark Henry and Ryback, which will probably be culminating at WrestleMania of all places. So maybe it's something to do with Mark Henry and Ryback at WrestleMania. Ryback.
I actually heard that they're gonna try something like this for SmackDown.
Oh yes, well yes, they're going to have a match on Friday Night SmackDown. But the fact of the matter is this: after the squashing of Heath Slater, the EMB comes in to try to attack Ryback to get revenge. Ryback quickly gives the shell shock to Drew McIntyre, and then just completely annihilates Jinder Mahal. And then in comes Mark Henry, stomping to the ring, sweating buckets of sweat, by the way, and gets into
Apparently,
the ring.
someone yelled buffet.
Yeah, and Drew McIntyre was the main course because they were playing a game of anything you can do, I can do better. Mark Henry gave the world's strongest slam to Drew McIntyre in front of Ryback, and then daring him to do better. Ryback then takes Drew McIntyre and picks him up and gives him another shell shock, which in return Mark Henry gives the world's strongest slam a second time to Drew McIntyre, and Ryback said, "You think you're so tough? Do it to me. Do it to me," which of course will probably lead into the match up at the Friday Night SmackDown. So very interesting to see where they go on SmackDown. But Drew McIntyre, rest in peace, or pieces.
Personally, I'm wondering why I mean, I hope that this develops into a feud leading up to WrestleMania. But if it doesn't, why not wait and have this match at WrestleMania? It would be a good match, in my opinion. And plus, this would allow Ryback to have a good, because wouldn't this be his debut at WrestleMania?
Yes, it would.
All right, perfect match. Fat ass versus fat ass. A meet of the fat asses, basically.
3.5 out of 5 on this whole ordeal. Again, Drew McIntyre, my best wishes to you, because you were pinged around like a ping pong ball. Next up, we had champion versus champion. Alberto Del Rio taking on Antonio Cesaro.
Wait, Antonio Cesaro is a champion?
United States champion.
Exactly.
Alberto Del Rio, Antonio Cesaro. It was a good, I want to say, about 7 to 8 minute match. Looked very well. Del Rio and Cesaro looked both really strong in this match. Del Rio gets the win with the cross arm breaker. But Jack Swagger, no, you know what? That's for later. I apologize about that. Now, earlier in the night, during the whole introduction of the Bellas back into the WWE, Vicky Guerrero comes up to him and says, you know what? Because we were robbed of a match, I'm going to give you another one. And I'm going to force you to take on Randy Orton and Sheamus, which was a very good match. I was very entertained by that. Now, it's a 4 out of 5 tag match for me. But the thing that really took me to believe that they're really going to be involving them in a storyline with the Shield was the fact that on the WWE Active app, we saw Orton and Sheamus as they were leaving on the stage, and they get attacked by the members of the Shield. And it ended with Seth Rollins hitting Randy Orton with the knee right to the skull, and Roman Reigns spearing Sheamus on the stage. So they really are looking forward to, again, possibly a 6-man tag against the Shield at WrestleMania. It's really leaning towards that way. Highlight reel time. Yes, the highlight reel is back again.
Yes.
And one thing to note, Jericho's jacket does malfunction during the entrance, but I really like the fact, in a very comedic style and way, that Jericho mentions that in his promo. And now we go into it's Miz and Wade Barrett that's going to be the guest on this week's edition, and we go in to see some clips of the Marine 3 home front, which, by the way, I will be reviewing in a day or so right here on WGS-TV. And I will tell you this: I thought it was a very good movie for a WWE Studios film. I know it's going to shock a lot of people out there that I said that about a WWE Studios movie, but when I get to the review of that, I'll explain.
It'll be better than 12 rounds.
Now, interesting enough to say that when they came back from the montage, the Geritron 5000 and the stools magically disappeared. How or why, I don't know. I don't even know what WWE's thinking during this segment. But Jericho also brings that up, saying, apparently I have magic because I made my set completely disappear. So he brings on the Miz, and they start talking about the Marine 3 home front, and not soon after that, we get Wade Barrett to come in here, and basically it takes a turn towards a dig for a dig for the Intercontinental title, as Wade Barrett was kind of standing up to Chris Jericho. Jericho reminding him that he is a 9-time Intercontinental Champion. Nobody else has won it more. And here comes Brad Maddox.
And that's when it goes to shit.
Yes.
Let me just say, I was begging. You know how Michael Cole and Jerry the King were begging to go to commercial? I was pleading. I was plea bargaining with WWE to go to a commercial.
But when they did that, the matchup between The Miz and Chris Jericho started, with the winner to go on to next week's Monday Night Raw to challenge for the Intercontinental Championship. And unfortunately, Brad Maddox was joining them on commentary, which made my head hurt.
No, it was Wade Barrett.
Oh, wait, yes, you're right. Wade Barrett was joining them on commentary.
Which ain't much better.
Now the matchup ends up in a no contest because during the matchup, Jericho throws Miz into Wade Barrett, and Wade Barrett responds by attacking both Jericho and the Miz, which in turn gets him a skull crushing finale from the Miz and the code breaker from Chris Jericho. Now on the WWE app during WWE Active, um, Wade Barrett's being interviewed by Max Striker, and he talks about that now he has no one to face on next week's Monday Night Raw. Vicky Guerrero corrects him and says, "You know what? You're not going to defend your title against Chris Jericho or The Miz. You're going to defend the title against both of them in a triple threat match." So, but then again, it was kind of obvious to see where that was going because of the fact that it was a no contest. I mean, we really didn't need to see that. They could have just had an announcement for it. But, you know, when one of these number one contenders matches ends in a no contest, about 99.99999 to the 75th power percentile chance that it always turns to a triple threat match. And, of course, in this one, it did.
Yeah.
I'm still going to give it a 4 out of 5. I'm going to combine the scores. I thought it was a very unique, hilarious segment, the highlight reel which led to the matchup with Jericho and Miz, and now they follow up the Intercontinental title match next week, triple threat, Barrett, Jericho, and the Miz. So I'm really anxious to see who they put the title on after next week.
Definitely.
Any thoughts on the highlight reel or the match?
The match I was zoning in and out of. The highlight reel I loved until Brad Maddox ruined it. Ugh, that was brutal. But yeah, totally totally glad to see the highlight reel back, and apparently sequestration is also affecting Jericho in the highlight reel as we saw. So very good segment and match though. Give it a 4 out of 5.
Next up was basically a jobber match between Jack Swagger and Sin Cara. You had Zeb Coulter come on the microphone. He's cut his little promo about America, or Ricardo Rodriguez called it in his parody, Miracle. By the way, I've heeded his advice about Mexican food. That's on.
You hate it?
No, I've never really tried Mexican food, honestly. But
Are you serious? You are bull crapping.
I've never tried a taco or an enchilada or a quesadilla.
Dude, there's this thing called Taco Bell, and you can actually get a taco there.
But the only time I go to Taco Bell is for my twin sister. That's all I'm going to say about that. But as we get back to the matter at hand, which is Monday Night Raw, and off of Taco Bell, you bastard, is like I said, it was basically a squash match between Swagger and Sin Cara. He got the Patriot lock on Sin Cara, and Sin Cara tapped out, which technically made Swagger the winner, but he would not relinquish the Patriot lock. So Del Rio ran in and started attacking Jack Swagger, and one point looked like he was going to have the cross arm breaker on Jack Swagger, but Zeb Coulter pulled Swagger to safety. So
actually, I think Goatface now belongs to Zeb Coulter.
Well, you heard it from Chris Rogers, guys. 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, it's just a basic squash match. And now we go up to the main event: Kane and CM Punk in the no disqualification match. Kane paying homage to Paul Bearer in his own way, coming up holding the urn and putting it on its own little stand at ringside. And before he had a chance to get into the ring, CM Punk jumps him on the outside, and it was a very great matchup with Kane and CM Punk. The finish of the match came with CM Punk getting choke slammed to hell by Kane, and Kane getting the win. Then next thing you know, the Undertaker's music hits. We see the Undertaker on stage. Well, Undertaker came in during the matchup, if I'm not mistaken, which caused a distraction for CM Punk and allowed Kane to gain the upper hand and choke slam him, if I'm not mistaken. But the Undertaker does his little one knee salute to Kane. Kane returns it, and in the midst of all that, CM Punk has grabbed the urn of Paul Bearer and attacked Kane with it, striking him not once but 3 different times in the skull with the urn, which prompts the Undertaker to march down there. And as soon as Taker got in the ring, CM Punk made a quick exit, goes up to the stage, and begins to mock the Undertaker's little one-knee salute, and has stolen Paul Bearer's urn in the process. So, for some reason, I believe the urn is going to be somewhat of a major factor in the storyline between The Undertaker and CM Punk. But overall, the main event, it gets a 4 out of 5 from me, Chris.
Same here, and I do agree with you about the urn. I think they're going to start using that more in the weeks to come, leading up to WrestleMania. And but I think it's kind of late for that now. I wouldn't be surprised if they inducted Paul Bearer into the Hall of Fame. I would not be surprised if they made a quick exception for him.
Which could be the subject of another one of my videos right here on WGS-TV, but we're going to save it for that time. Overall score Monday Night Raw this week's going to get a 4 out of 5 from me. I really love the way that, in a sense, the WWE allowed Undertaker to pay tribute to William Moody, a.k.a. Paul Bearer, in his own little special way, but then they had as a dig towards their matchup with WrestleMania with CM Punk. Big Show defeating Seth Rollins via disqualification due to the interference of the Shield. I kind of saw that coming. Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan, hands down, match of the night. Again, WWE needs to really do something with Fan Dildo or get him the hell out of here.
Agreed.
Because it was, again, 4 times in a row of just basically saying, I am not going to wrestle because you didn't say my name right. It's just getting kind of redundant. The New Age Outlaws taking on Team Road Scholars, which they really used to bring Lesnar back and have him attack the New Age Outlaws, which is, again, a dig towards their matchup with Triple H. And now we have the new stipulation that we will not hear the stipulations to the matchup until Triple H signs the contract. Mark Henry defeating Kofi Kingston, I thought was kind of blasé in a sense. The return of the Bellas, I've already made my statement about that. Ryback defeating Heath Slater. Again, I think this is something more towards Ryback and Mark Henry and, everything they're going to be doing with those two. Alberto Del Rio defeating Antonio Cesaro by submission. I thought it was a great match. Both guys still looked really good. Randy Orton and Sheamus defeating the Road Scholars in a very good tag match. Then, of course, we saw the attack by the Shield. Again, they're really using the Shield a lot for the build-up until WrestleMania. The highlight reel, unusual and funny at the same time, especially with the disappearance of the Geritron 5000 and the stools during the whole presentation of the Marine 3 Homefront montage.
One of 2 things happened. Either sequestration is affecting Jericho or Jericho forgot to pay the bill.
Then we had a very good matchup with Jericho and The Miz, which unfortunately ended in a no contest due to the interference of Wade Barrett, which now leads up to next week's Intercontinental title match in a triple threat match between Barrett, Jericho, and Miz, which I really will be looking forward to.
Can we make predictions on that?
Well, if you want to make a prediction on it, you can go ahead and do it.
I think Jericho is going to get the Intercontinental title and become a 10-time, because just the way he was pushing it tonight, it just, something in my head just clicked and told me that, it would fall into place perfectly. Give Jericho another title reign before he takes off again on another stupid Fozzy tour.
Jack Swagger defeating Sin Cara. Again, it was basically a squash match, but they used it to have Del Rio run in and attack Swagger, get him off of Sin Cara, and nearly get the cross arm breaker on Swagger. And then the main event with Kane and CM Punk. For the WWE now to involve the use of the urn, Paul Bearer's urn, again, really could be, like I've said already, a contributing factor in the storyline between The Undertaker and CM Punk. So, overall, gets a 4 out of 5 from me. Now, Chris, I know there was a good portion of Raw that you did not see, but from what you did see, I'd like to hear your thoughts.
I really enjoyed it. it took me a little while to figure out who Kane actually threw in the locker room, which we later found out to be Alex Riley. And so it was amazing. It was great to see them do a tribute to Paul Bearer. I think it was great. And so 4 out of 5 for me.
What we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. Make sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Guys, Chris Rogers over on Rockin' Waves 11294. Chris, you got any upcoming projects you'd like to announce?
Yes, this month is our 5-year anniversary month, and we have a lot of great things going on. We got 3 new DJs that we brought on board. The Flying Scotsman, you can catch them every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. My shows on Tuesday and Thursday from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern. Cartoons with Randy Karsten, you can catch him every Tuesday at 5. And every Thursday, Billy Course Classics at 5.
And where can they catch y'all?
You can catch us on blogtv.com/people/Chrismaster1/2. It's just like Chrismaster 1, only you add a half to it. And again, it's our 5th anniversary month, so come check us out.
Also, don't forget the comment question of the week. We want to know some of your favorite Paul Bearer moments. So we really want to hear from you guys on that subject, on that matter. Some of your favorite Paul Bearer moments during his career in the WWE. Also, don't forget to like and favorite this video, and also please don't forget to subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network. So for the master of Rockin' Waves 11294, Chris Rogers, I'm Double B Billy Boudreaux, saying thank you very much for watching.
Stoke Artist. Stoke Artist. Stoke Artist. Stoke Artist. Spiritual speaking. Stoke Artist. Stoke Artist. I'm Haley Ringrose. Stoke Artist.
My name's Andrew Weatherall.
Spiritual speaking. Stoke Artist.